It is weird that how many things do you say to you. Right, we're going to make something called potato mimosa, which is quite often a breakfast dish. It's named after the Indian town of Mimosa. So what we've got for it, we've got some onions frying in the pan. We've got chilli, turmeric, curry powder, bit of garlic, some cubed potato that is partially cooked. Then we've got lime juice, we've got eggs, coriander, optional, and some tomatoes. So, first job for you, young Mr. Merriweather, is just slice that, chop it, crush it, whatever you fancy doing.
Which knife am I using?
It doesn't matter.
I'll take the big one.
Whole variety.
Take the big one. It's more fun.
Right.
Now, meanwhile, what we've got in here, the onion is cooking away, so that's soft.
How am I cooking it? How am I...
I don't matter. However you want to do it. You can, if you want, you just bash it with the back of your hand. All it is really to get flavour in. It's whatever you feel most comfortable with. This is one of those things where you can just go for it a little bit. Then we add the turmeric into there.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And then we add some curry powder into there and just start cooking that around. So this really is... It's like many of those sort of leftover-y type dishes where, you know, you've got some potato that's already cooked, then you've got herbs and spices, or you've got other flavours, and it all just gets combined. It's as simple as that. So the potato goes in. Things like this, I always think you need a fair amount of salt with, because things like the potato, they lose so much of their flavour. So you want to bring out the flavour of all these beautiful curry spices by adding a nice bit of salt in there. And you can do this, we've got these kind of nicely peeled and cubed little bits of spud, but if you wanted, you'd have new potatoes. Jersey rolls are good at this time of year. You could do it with those.
I just realised I had 1.5 cocktails that I'm trying to cut with this knife.
You be careful.
It's a little bit dangerous, to be honest.
That's perfect. Yeah. We'll chuck that in.
Right, cool,
so what we do is then the garlic goes in as well. Now you've honed your knife skills.
Yes.
With one of these tomatoes, again, chop that rough, smooth, whatever you want to do, really, because it's really about how you fancy making the dish, really. And what's important at this stage is that we're trying to get a good amount of flavour and also a good amount of heat. Because basically, what we do after this is warmed a little bit is we scramble eggs within the potato.
It's just such a bizarre idea for a dish, isn't it?
Potato omelette. You sort of think of it in that way?
Isn't that Spanish?
Yeah, the Spanish omelette tends to be just potato. So it's that similar principle. Eggs and potato is a classic combination. Really.
Yeah. You got, I suppose, protein. You got your carbs.
Exactly.
It's the way to start the day.
Yeah, it's the perfect balance.
Carb up. Yeah.
I quite like it when we have guests and they take it seriously. It's good. I like the way there's a determination in your face.
Do it. Like I'm not just gonna.
Good.
I haven't done this in a while.
It wasn't a criticism at all. I like it.
I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job though.
I think you are.
Yeah.
I think you can be proud of yourself.
I'm impressed. So you live between America and England. Where would you say, and we won't be offended, but where would you say the best food is?
Well, it's kind of like, I mean, New York has such a high concentration of restaurants that you can't really go wrong there, you know?
I do love it when you go to a deli and order a sandwich, you get something this big with a pickle on top. It's great.
Yeah, it's like if you're really broke, you could definitely like feed a family for a week, just like you know, getting a doggy bag from one restaurant because the servings are so big. But there's great restaurants in so you can always get a good curry in London, you know, and I'm a big fan of curry.
What about Melbourne, where you're from? That's supposed to be pretty good, isn't it, for food out there?
Yeah, well, Melbourne's got like really good sort of, you know, like Southeast Asian food, like sort of, you know, like Thai food. I know you've tried food before. It's really big on that, like Vietnamese food, Chinese food, like amazing.
It's a great thing with Australia, isn't it? The next landmass is Southeast Asia, so that natural mix of the ingredients is quite fantastic.
Yeah, totally.
How did you get back home then? Because it's such a long way away.
Yeah, I went back in November. I was on tour out there with...
Come round here. Leave your tomato there. Come round here. I'll show you the next bit that we're going to do. Right, now what we're going to do is, if you tip all of that egg in there first of all, but don't move it. Just let it go and start to cook a little bit. We've got nice high heat on this, because this is where we start to get the thing to cook. So as it goes in, then all we do, we just move it around so it's a nice thin layer, so it'll cook a little bit more quickly. So you see, that's the basic principle of kind of making an omelette. But rather than kind of leaving it to turn into an omelette, what you start doing now, Dan, is just gently start moving it around. Okay? But if you overwork it, then it breaks down a little bit too much. So what we do is, that's
You've got to kind of fold it, don't you?
That's it. That's exactly it. So what you're doing is you're holding together all of the flavour of the potato and the egg in there, and then that's good. And it cooks very, very quickly, and it's a nice colour. You know, you've got all the turmeric in there, you've got the curry powder in there. A little pinch of that. That's good. You're doing a fine job. And then, Tim, could you just chuck all that tomato in there? Because what happens now is that once it starts to come together, now we've got quite heavy flavours with the egg and with the potato and with the curry spices. So now you want to lift it. So then we add tomatoes and we add some coriander, which I know Tim hates, but it's so nice in this dish.
So I feel like Tim hates everything, though.
I love you, mate.
You're like a cuisine hater.
I love you.
You're like, oh, it's a bit of a strange dish, don't you think? It's like, mate, it's going to be great.
I think what I need is...
We're going to eat it.
I think I need a bit of...
I haven't had breakfast
I think I need a bit more love.
Oh, come here.
You don't know how special that is for Tim.
That feels better.
You'll be all right.
I feel better now. Hey, I love coriander. Woohoo!
You're just so adverse to that kind of that male-on-male hug as well thing.
Well, not with Daniel.
Yeah, no, that felt pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it felt good for me.
2.5 years, I've been cultivating our friendship, and what happens? Some new boy comes in and he gets hugs everywhere.
Oh, you guys don't hug?
Well, we've done a couple of times.
Yeah. We keep it quiet.
This has got to change.
I know.
This has got to change.
It needs to loosen up a bit, don't you think?
So what's it?
So then we've got a little bit of namba there. Then you squeeze some lime over it at the end, which again just freshens it. The tomato freshens it to a certain extent, as does the coriander. And then we just scoop a big load of this delicious potato-y, eggy mix on top, and that's your fella. Done.
It's quick to make. Can you just go back to the potatoes there? Were they boiled?
Potatoes were boiled, yeah, so they're already sort of 3/4 cooked, so that final bit just kind of cooks them through.
Okay. All right, brilliant.
Important detail there.
That was, I like to get it right, because I will be doing it for my dinner party.
Are you going to cook this?
Which I might invite you to.
That would be great.
Mark's come in, he said he's not sure whether he wants you to come right. Listen, we're going to be tasting that in just a minute, but now I'm back over to Amanda, if you want to come.
Yeah. Right, now all morning we've been showing you clips from an episode of Neighbours and asking to get what year it was first broadcast. We gave you a couple of clues. Angry Anderson, he wasn't very angry, was in the charts, and A Fish Called Wanda was in the cinemas, and the answer is 1988.
Yes.
Well, I was a year out. You were a year out in a two boys fight, didn't you?
What year was it?
88.
Yay.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. OK, so food-wise, what we've got, Amanda, you have got the spicy chicken Caesar type salads with the chilli in there and the kidney beans.
Which Jane actually wants to taste.
Yeah,
so
which is a really lovely fresh flavour. The Jane has got the Thai spice pollock with the steamed rice and the coconut milk and the ginger and the chilli. Tim, you've got the frozen ice cream dessert, which you and I have, which you won't eat, and then dig into that mimosa, because that is a great dish for a brunch.
So let's see what you think of it. We've got some emails coming in here. Dave Rigby, for you, Jane. Are there any other plans for another Nevermind the Horrocks? Which was a one-off special you did for Channel 4,
right,
wasn't
yes.
it?
No, there aren't any plans for it.
What, you did loads of impressions and things on there.
Yeah, and different sort of little sketches. But I suppose because Catherine Tate's done it so brilliantly since, I don't think they need another actress doing that.
Do you enjoy doing a show like that, though? Wouldn't it be good to do a series of those, something?
Yeah, but I mean, I think because Catherine Tate has done it already, it's really, I don't think that there's space for...
And Katie Brown does that stuff as well, doesn't she? Carla, for you, Daniel, says... Carla says, have you ever been starstruck? And the reason we're reading this is because in New York you're hanging out with quite some big players, aren't you? Jay-Z and stuff. Is that right, or is that just a one-off?
Well, he's kind of like... The first time I met Jay-Z, I was very, very starstruck because he was like my favourite rapper when I was growing up. We ended up having a conversation about rice milk, though, which was quite disarming. I've just got to interrupt what I was saying just then to say that I'm kind of drunk right now.
Oh, yeah.
And that doesn't reflect badly on me. You made me drink 2 cocktails.
Well, yeah, I blame Andy Pearson. He's the guy who made it for you.
Try it.
Is it good?
It's really good.
This?
Yeah. You want to try some of this?
I'll get to it after, when we close.
Okay, because I'm...
You want to try some of this?
I'm looking at that, yeah.
Go on then.
I feel like I need a bit
Why don't we just all swap food? Here we are. What do you want? You want to try this?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, there you go.
The whims of celebrities, eh?
And what's that like? Is that good?
Oh, this is great. Yeah.
You want to try anything else?
No. No, this is really good.
Do you want a coffee now?
What are you doing for the rest? What are you doing for the rest of the day? Sleeping?
Trying to sleep that off.
All right, that's it for this week. Thanks to Jane and Daniel for joining us. Next week, Kate Garrigway will be here. Enjoy your Sunday. See ya. Bye.